Look at the UVTV, motherfucker. I'm at the kick spiritual ass and do this my people. On God. Yeah, nigga, for Featherman, yeah. Today I'm gonna be talking about what is Freemasonry, the fraternal order of being fixated, of being the fixated portion of springtime in the flesh, walk emanations. So, taking away the fear mongering, take away the programming, taking away the spookism that surrounds it and stuff like that. When it comes to Freemasonry and the Masonic rite and all that type stuff, to make it like mad simple without even being offensive, because y'all be putting that shit out there, even though I know it's a whole secret society, occultism, behind closed doors type of practice, right? Of how y'all try to be in the shadows and run things behind closed doors because of this, that, and the third, but based upon business, religion, education, politics, and entertainment and stuff like that, y'all still uphold these same practices based upon y'all being the practitioners of what y'all doing. And look at that in a nutshell as what they do today based upon capitalism. Capitalism is just them trying to keep those private enterprises for themselves based upon some type of aristocracy, elite concept. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have things when it comes to that shit like what they call that shit like that one meme with Jaden Smith. Oh, we're not talking about the socio-economical political state of the world and all that type shit. Yeah, that's why they have the economy set up like that, and the classism system, and who's minorities and who's marginalized and who's going to be the majority, and the plutocracy and stuff like that. And then all it's going to lead to is them being the ultimate middlemen, them being that in the flesh into the physical, all the way down to this practice I'm saying right now of them making a boys and girls club in a little secret society organization. They just made it free roaming. So the same way how we talk about the Jews and stuff like that, right? You don't have to be of that culture, even though the culture is just cosplaying. But you don't gotta be a part of their culture to be a Jew. It's a mental template. So from you being that mental template, that's why you can have a lot of people, a lot of different people from different ethnic backgrounds beyond just European folks. You can be Arab, you could be Mexican, you could be Native American, you could be goddamn African, you can be Asian, but you can still be a Jew. You know what I'm saying? You can still get a bucket hat on you. You know what I'm saying? You can still get a fez hat on you. You can still run with the Pope and shit like that. You can still be a part of the Vatican. You can still be part of the order and stuff like that. It's the same thing when it comes to Freemasonry. It's just the um, oldest, most ancient textbook version of them writing this shit down of the practices they already was doing in old Europe and stuff like that. They're just doing it in a new way in different terminology and updating the practices and stuff like that to maintain that order in that organization and stuff like that. So all the way down to actual fraternities, like how we have in these different institutions and universities and stuff like that, is them trying to make themselves universal. Is them trying to make themselves initiated, and if you want to be a part of their initiation, their cardinal sign, if you want to look at it from a like astrology point of view and stuff like that, right? You get initiated into something. So taking away the spookism out of it. So being part of a Masonic rite, right, is just a ritual and spell, right? So it's the same way how you wake up for a 9 to 5, or you feel like you have a schedule, pattern, routine that you do on a day-to-day basis that you like to upkeep in some shape and form. You look at that shit like a ritual because you created it and it helps your creative process. Okay, that's you basically being into their template of how they like to be in a ritual or a spell, or the things they like to practice in organization. You know what I'm saying? They like to compartmentalize it and have some type of schedule system or some type of formation. That's why all the way down to their symbolism and stuff like that, they be assembled in a certain way and put motherfuckers in a colony in a certain way, because it's just a new age version of capitalism. And before it was even called that, it was just colonization and stuff like that. So they're just upholding the practitioners of that practice based upon what their ancestors did, and then they're getting that fruit of the uh what would you call that? Like based upon like what their ancestors did, they're upholding it, and they're getting the nepotism based upon the predecessors and stuff like that. They're just the descendants of what, you know what I'm saying, the people before them ascended to do and stuff like that. But spiritually, they don't realize how they be doing shit in reverse, and they just getting lost into the physical, into the flesh, and the tools and the external world and the technology that get made from the body, from the flesh. But that's here nor there. So to make it mad simple, right? Masons are just May sons. They're May suns. So the same way how you have the month of May and stuff like that was during May. The fixated portion of spring. What's the fixated portion of spring? Taurus season. Taurus season. Better supported by the second house, if I want to make that the astrological term. So based upon that sun pocket, which will also be 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. I mean, not 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. right? Based upon that sun pocket, that fixated portion of the sun, the bright star that came from the morning star, which is just Pisces. If you look at my other videos of me explaining that shit, so all the way down to, you know what I'm saying? Like they upkeep these things. They just use a whole bunch of different terminology so they can be the white face of it. And that's it. That's all. And make different statues and deities and lords so you can get trapped into their mind state of what they created in the first place. And you go to war for them based upon you think you represented some type of godly type being, but they're just trying to be God. They're trying to play God. They're trying to play that frequency. God is just all possibilities. So based upon them making it possible and them being a walking emanation of that example, you only gonna look to them for safety, security, and you know what I'm saying, standing on business, morals and principles and stuff like that, higher meanings and reasonings. You're gonna go to them and put your faith into them and believe it into their formulation of how they look at it. That's how we got religion all the way up today. They do it in business, religion, politics, entertainment, and education and stuff like that. They're upholding the same practices in all those different fixated templates so they can be the walking star all the way down to their symbolism and stuff like that. Which we're not gonna get into that today, but that's all it is. It's just witchcraft. The same way how y'all look at Jewish mysticism and witchcraft and shit like that with the Kabbalah and it talking about the chakras, they're just showing you the white-faced version of what that is based upon monotheism in Christianity and the Abrahamic God and stuff like that, deity, and them being that. And they want you to go to war for that. But it's a template that they made up and shit like that. That's why they give it to you in a book, the holy book, the sacred book. The minute you know how to read a Bible, like when you actually know how to read the Bible and interpret the Bible or these holy texts, especially when it comes to the holy, like the Abrahamic religions, like the Torah or the Bible or the Quran and stuff like that. When you know how to interpret that right in the right formulation based upon their allegories, when they start talking about that shit, when it comes to the Master Masons, the 33rd degree Masons and stuff like that, and Hiram Abiff in that allegory, they're saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way in the Bible. The Bible is just an astrology allegorical book. When they be doing that shit, when it come to their initiations and the shit they be talking about, they're initiating you into something, and the practices and the things you learning to go up, you know what I'm saying, in their rankings to be a master mason, masturbation, you know what I'm saying, Lord thinkership and shit like that is just their terminology of magical thinking, and the only reason they in that position is based upon capitalism. That's it. Colonization and capitalism. That's it. So it's just that. They're just trying to be the fixated portion of springtime in the flesh. So Taurus season. So all the way down to ball and stuff like that. They're just trying to be the walking emanation of what that look like. So what is Taurus, right? Taurus is the you know what I'm saying? Like the Taurus zodiac sign. That's being fixated in your own way of thinking and practicalizing and materializing when it comes to logic, rationality, materializing, making sense out of something, grounded something, and mental resilience and stuff like that. So earth-like qualities. Earth just means the physical world because earth is made up of fire, water, and air, and it get condensed, right? So all the way down to it being condensed is gonna make sense in the physical world. So when y'all be talking about the physical world and the flesh and the body and things have to be realistic, you mean things that are realistic and relative to the body, the flesh, the things that got grounded. You know what I'm saying? The things that get materialized and shit. That's why there's a difference between manifestation and materializing. You're manifesting men and women, masculine and feminine energies, external, internal world, right? And you're trying to condense that together and push and pull, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Expand, contract that enough to where it gets materialized into the flesh, into, you know what I'm saying? Into the body, into the physical in some shape or form. It started off as like a vision, an idea, a feeling that turned into an emotion. And you was so much into that emotion, that passion, that motivation, and that intent, and you want to will that into existence based upon your awareness and what you know, and based upon that awareness and what you're paying attention to and stuff like that, you're gonna attract yourself to different shapes and forms of how to make that real, of actual reality, and you make it look like it's possible. You make it look like that shit real and stuff like that. So it's literally just that, and that's the like the simple version of how to look at it. But it's like, yeah, That's what they're doing from them creating different mental templates and manuscripts and stuff like that. So like uh so like so you can be in their formulation of how they want you to look at the world and stuff like that. You get the gentrified hand-me-down knowledge of what the fuck they already doing on like a broad scale, because again, it's Freemason, so they're freely roaming. At first it's like how like back then with like Knight Templars and stuff like that. At first it was just something they was doing in Europe and during medieval times and stuff like that. Because I know if you look at Mason and shit like that, they're gonna be like, oh, you're like a stone worker or like a builder of stone and shit like that. They carving stone. So from them doing that, they're doing it in the spiritual realm though. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it based upon a mental template. They're doing it in the metaphysical. They're trying to build and craft the world how they want to build and craft the world, and put y'all in different programs and magic squares of how they want you to look at it. And that's how they section up society and shit like that. That's why they be saying Freemasonry is based upon fraternal order and or a brotherhood in a secret society. It's the shadow or the unseen behind the scenes realm of how they make the external realm of how they run society and shit like that. All the way to what they're doing in America right now and shit like that. So it's like a traveling guild. So it's like Mormons, basically. Like, I'm not saying they are Mormons, but it go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, based upon that religious practice of Mormons or Jesuits and stuff like that, they're doing the same thing. Or the Pope, they're doing the same thing. It's just a different formulation of what they already doing. It's just the religious version of what that is. It's a real legion of people who believe in something, and you know what I'm saying? They willing to you know what I'm saying? Like they willing to cosplay or act out that character, be that walking emanation, that walking star of them all mentally agreeing with each other. Oh, this is how we want to take over the world based upon the spiritual aspects of it. So let's make this religion, this real legion, to put motherfuckers in a colony, mental template, mental slaves, because we're not in physical slavery no more, because we already got niggas all rage baited out and so programmed up and so confused based upon how we used to do it and shit like that. Oh, we don't even have to be in those towns no more. We can have this secret code, you know what I'm saying? And we can freely accept other motherfuckers who want to be a part of this secret society, who want to be a part of the SOB, who want to be a part of the initiation rituals and shit like that. To be master masons, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like Masons, the fixated portion of springtime and shit like that. They're trying to create something that looks real, that looks, you know what I'm saying, promising, that looks like a faith, that looks like a belief, the same way how y'all be doing with religion and the Abrahamic God and shit like that, and look at that like a deity, and the only way to go through all possibilities, aka God, is being part of that brotherhood, being a part of that initiation. Oh, you feeling like you helping the world by being a part of that in some way, shape, or form. So that's what they mean, all the way down to when they be talking about, oh, we're gonna take shit to the third degree and shit like that. Because you know what I'm saying? Like it's like Fed talk. It's like police work and shit like that. Like when it's the same thing with like the Masons when they be talking about the 33rd degree and shit like that. All they talking about is, oh, let's do some Fed shit based upon the system we set up, the government we done set up. Oh, let's do some Fed work. Oh, let's do some military work. Oh, let's do some police work. Let's find out what strangers doing that we don't know, because we done made, like, you know what I'm saying? We didn't formulate that based upon colonization and capitalism. So let's capitalize off of controlling motherfuckers, because this is the governing mentality that we in right now, which is just the government. Oh, this is how we try to rule the world in the physical and stuff like that. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different representation of what that look like, so we can make that a thing to where, oh, that's something you can aspire to be. I'm not saying there's something wrong with having police officers or firemen or the military and stuff like that. But the only reason they're in the position of what they got now is because of colonization and capitalism and where we at right now in society, in the economic state of world and stuff like that. The whole thing is a blueprint. The whole thing is a manuscript. The whole thing is set up. You know what I'm saying? It's just, when it comes to Freemasonry, it's just that fraternal order, secret society of what they be doing. So the thing they be doing behind closed doors, even though they really be showing y'all in your face, the religious aspect, they be doing that when it comes to religion. So they be doing that when it comes to the Abrahamic God and Christianity and monotheism and polytheism and stuff like that. They be doing it based upon the education system. That's why they have different universities and institutions. So you have to get institutionalized beyond just the prison system and stuff like that in their system of how to get education, so you can get more knowledge or wisdom of you know what I'm saying, of how to do certain jobs and shit like that. I'm not trying to say it like, oh yeah, we don't need doctors, or we don't need nurses, or we don't need motherfuckers in the military, or motherfuckers who trying to go to school to get a degree or something like that. But they whole thing based upon masonry is based upon degrees. That's why they have the first to the 33rd degree. And the ancient version of what that is basically like the Scholars Rite or some European motherfuckers who was doing that in the first place. Because it's, you know what I'm saying, like Knight Templars and stuff like that. That's the oldest order. So they've been doing this for a long ass time. Since like the 14th to 17th century or some shit like that. So it's like, yeah, they crafting and building the world the way they see it. And if you want to be a part of that lineage or be a part of that little group or be a part of that little fraternity or that boys and girls club, just not the gentrified version of that. So look at that like, you know what I'm saying? Like frat bros and shit like that. Like that's like the gentrified version of that. If you want to go to like the OGs, you know what I'm saying? Like the real version of what that is, it's the same way how you got gentrified mainstream hip hop compared to like organic hip hop for where it begun and stuff like that. So look at that as like organic hip hop or motherfuckers who go back to the root of how it traditionally started and stuff like that. And they rap like a fucking backpack rapper or some shit like that. Or they rapping like Rakim or some shit like that. It's basically the same thing. It's the same thing. Based upon like the allegory that I'm talking about right now. So it's like, yeah, you're being freely accepted into their way of how they want to build and craft the world. That's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's it. And then they do it based upon different rites and initiations and different degrees. That's why you have to go get a degree every time you go to college and stuff like that, because you're going into their institutions of how they want to look at the world and stuff like that. And yeah, like you're getting enlightenment based upon what they got enlightened by from what they wrote down based upon history and shit like that, instead of you trying to understand the mysticism, the mystery behind yourself and how you can make up your own shape or form how to do that. You just can't get that far with that, because then they feel like you a op, or they feel like you a Satan, or they feel like you the devil, because they the you know what I'm saying, they the hardest motherfuckers who done did that in existence so far of where we living right now and stuff like that in the physical. So look at that as like colonization, nigga. They did that the hardest than all y'all street rappers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they the ultimate street rappers. They the ones who made and built the street, motherfucker. You think you doing something hard, nigga? They went harder than y'all. They just gave y'all a template so where y'all can rap about it and entertainment and stuff like that. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all type shit. You know what I'm saying? They went hard for that. They did that for 200, 300, 400 years type shit. They fought for that shit. Yeah, if anything, that's the main reason they got the plutocracy shit set up, and they got y'all in so many different mental programs, because they don't want y'all to think for yourselves and go back to the traditional route of how shit used to be like. That's why y'all be in a yearning of that in general, and that's why y'all be so flunked out when it comes to, damn, I believe in this religion, I was Christian doing this, that, and the third, but I feel like I'm not getting nowhere, or like something on my spirit, like, you know what I'm saying? That's why y'all be flip-flopping and going in and out, and y'all look like Annalie Chopper right now and shit. You know what I'm saying? Annalie Chopper is just like the new version of what I'm trying to say, but that's why like y'all jump from another spiritual practice to another one, from this religion to this religion to this religion. It just making you programmed, just making you flunked out, instead of trying to create your own way of how to look at it and shit. You know what I'm saying? You make your own character instead of cosplaying into some type of character they set up for you, based upon all possibilities and the best way you know how and stuff like that. So it's just based upon the intentions of just becoming more aware. The more you know how to expand your mind is the more you know how to expand your spirit, the space you in, and you can create and be productive in that, instead of getting lost into someone else's creations and someone else's product. That's why all the way down to television and the different commercials and the different marketing and different branding and the different enterprises and the different things they push onto y'all and name brands and shit like that. Like, that's why they set it up like that. You know what I'm saying? The marketplaces and shit like that. That's why they set it up like that and put billions of dollars behind it and shit like that. Even though it's something that got created. It's GMO at this point. It's not organic. It's not something for the people and shit. That's why when it comes to our food, they GMO and gentrify that shit to like the highest level and add a whole bunch of additives. Okay, they're adding something on to keep that business running. They only care about the business and the monetary gain, the money out of it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get the organic shit and shit like that. That's why it'd be important to shop at supermarkets and shit. Like, or if it's not that, at least, okay, you know that's what you're doing. If you do go to Walmart or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that's what you're doing, but like, you know, there's like all organic shit you can make in your backyard if you want to take it that far. But like, yeah, y'all get what I'm trying to say though. But yeah, for the most part, that's all Freemasonry is, and them trying to be the walking emanation of that. And, I'm not even trying to say, like, I'm not even trying to look at it from like a right or wrong type perspective and shit like that. Of like, oh yeah, we got to get rid of you, motherfucker, because this, that, and the third. There's some pros and cons out of it and shit like that. The only problem is when they start self projecting and they be like, oh, okay, you can only be into this template or this university or get this type of degree, otherwise you're not credible. Man, motherfucker, y'all was cosplaying a whole bunch of other motherfuckers to even make it so y'all can even be in that position in the first place. You better calm that shit down, on God. So at that point, man, I'm trying to see y'all for real. I'm trying to see y'all. Nah. Fuck that secret devil. Fuck that shadow government, man. Fuck that. Oh, we doing some shit in the shadows behind closed doors because of this, that, and the third. Like, yeah. You can have in-house type of fights and shit like that of like how y'all want to run shit, but at the same time, it's like, nah, we need to see the genuality behind that shit. Nah, we need to see y'all for real. We need to see the real intentions. How can y'all? How can y'all gotta? Man, how can y'all can't just show y'all face and shit like that? Y'all gotta be master masons, masturbation type energy and shit like that, and be some red pill circle jerk gym bros and shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to see the gentrified motherfucker. Man, I say in Atlanta, I can go 20 minutes in Metro Atlanta at that. I can go 20 minutes down the road or some shit. I can see one of them older type buildings and shit like that have a big ass sign and a symbol in the front. Oh yeah, Masonic Lodge and shit like that for, you know what I'm saying? Because they got this shit worldwide. They got it all over the world. So it's like, it's them keeping up the same practices. They still keeping up the same practices and shit like that. Right? But I'm all like, nah, nigga, we need to see y'all. We need to see y'all. Y'all ain't no real men. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't doing no real man shit. At that point, if y'all gotta do shit like that, y'all gotta do some underhanded type of tactics, some alternative motive type of tactics, some snake deceitful type quality and moving treacherous and shit like that, based upon different colonies and shit like that. The different pillars y'all got set up based upon entertainment and politics and religion and education and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, y'all gotta be that for real. Man, y'all Jesus Christ ass motherfuckers, y'all Jesuits, man, y'all gotta be that for real. Man, y'all Pope motherfuckers, man, y'all gotta be that for real. Y'all gotta be all that for real. All that for real. All y'all niggas in the industry artists, especially on a high percentage scale, man, y'all gotta be that for real. Nah, ain't no fuck the streets. Nah, nigga, you gotta be that for real. Nigga, you wouldn't be no street nigga. Nigga, you wouldn't even be no street nigga if you wasn't born from the street. So that's what made you a street rapper and you rapping about it. So I'm like, the fuck you mean that? You would even be that. You wouldn't be in that position if you ain't do that. You wouldn't have got signed and got found by some lawyer or by some handler or by some A&R if you wasn't that. Nah, y'all gotta be that for real. No, y'all gotta be the gym. Y'all gotta be that for real and shit like that. You ain't gonna get away from that starting point. The minute you start cosplaying, you start looking like Kanye wearing a MAGA hat, make America great again and shit like that. Ah, man, nah, fuck all that. Y'all ain't being no real men and women on God. Y'all's not being genuine on God. Y'all, see, y'all be moving the goalposts on God. Y'all moving the goalposts. Yeah, how come when y'all be seeing that actual response and actual reaction and actual experience in reality, where it be like, oh yeah, when strangers or people who you don't know be playing out these qualities and shit like that, y'all watch out for that. But then when it comes to the government or the military or shit like this, y'all just moving the goalposts and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? The minute it start going to that conversation, it's like I want to run away from that conversation, especially motherfuckers from my background and shit like that, like, or like theologians and shit like that. Y'all love running away from that conversation. Like the minute we like, oh yeah, if Jesus Christ was really dead, he walked on water, then how come y'all can't be walking emanations of what that look like in the flesh? But nah, y'all doing what y'all doing in goddamn Palestine. Y'all doing what y'all doing in Gaza and shit like that. Y'all doing that based upon, oh yeah, it's we the Hebrew Israelites and this is our land and stuff like that because we was promised this by God, our deity and shit like that. Man, y'all just colonizing. Nah, how can y'all can't just do that for real? All the way down to the promised land of like different Zionists and shit like that. No, because we starting to see that shit. It's like, man, y'all just showing y'all hand. Y'all just showing y'all hand. Y'all just some fuck niggas. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just self-projecting what you think we care about. And y'all want us to fight y'all battles and care about what y'all care about. Man, we don't give a fuck about that. We trying to get our own 1-2 together based upon how y'all cripple motherfuckers or how y'all set up society and shit like that. And the minute we go against that shit, oh, now that's a problem. So now y'all gotta, you know what I'm saying? Now y'all gotta drain motherfuckers who actually trying to do that. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, make them look like they fucking crazy and shit like that. But like, man, like y'all gotta stop that shit. That whole traditional way, it's not even really traditional. We just going back to the original starting point and it's a reset. But that whole way of how y'all was doing shit, yeah, that shit ain't gonna work no more. That shit ain't gonna work no more, on God. Like, I know it seemed like, oh, I'm getting away from the topic because we're talking about Freemasonry, but it is, though, because they holding up the same practices. If y'all really be paying attention and see between the lines when it come to education, when it come to religion, when it come to entertainment, when it come to politics, and when it come to business. The business practices still be there, and of how y'all industrialize motherfuckers and be working in y'all different industries. The entertainment aspect still be there because that's what y'all be doing based upon UMG and Sony and Warner, and y'all can't, you know what I'm saying, the education still be there based upon universities, and y'all want to be the universal version of a Harvard or like a Yale based upon what y'all done did, based upon the Age of Enlightenment, even though y'all just cosplaying Native American knowledge and spiritual systems, y'all made a new version of what that is. So that goes into the religion aspect of what the fuck that look like, and it go all the way down to y'all politician. That's why y'all be politicking like that. In sewingship and foreign. That's why y'all symbolism be like that. That's why y'all American flag be like that when it comes to the Constitution and we the people and God we trust with the dollar bill and powder whiz and our providence and the money. Y'all on the money, and that's how y'all set that shit up. And y'all got the bald eagle with the fucking arrows and with the goddamn olive branch and the eagle's feet and shit like that. Oh, y'all just want to be the overseers. Oh, y'all just want to be the eagle. Oh, y'all just want to be the main characters. Oh, y'all just want to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all be showing that shit in reality. I'm just taking away the spookism and shit like that, and the Illuminati way of looking at it, and the conspiracy theory and Alex Jones and shit like that. That's all that shit is. For real. So it's like, I ain't saying that's not what y'all can do, but y'all can make that shit look better, though. I'm just saying, y'all can make that shit look better. If y'all want to be the freely roam Masons and be that in the physical and create some mental template of springtime, and y'all want to spring and germinate the seed or spring something off of how reality look like, y'all can make that shit look better, though. Y'all can make that shit look better. Ain't no reason like common motherfuckers can see what the fuck that is. Like niggas like me and shit like that. But hey, you be here and I'm here for my people. Watch them niggas. Watch them niggas. Watch them niggas. So if you start sitting there wondering, damn, I'm trying to have my own school and stuff like that. How come I'm having something like, you know what I'm saying, some Dr. Umar type shit. Like, oh, I'm trying to have my own school and shit like that. How come it's so difficult to get my own school and my own education system? And I'm trying to do something based upon some entrepreneurship, and I'm trying to get my own business popping, this, that, and third. But how come it seems like I got to go through so many different loop-de-loops to get certain shit set up to even make my business start booming and shit like that to get the monetary gain? And you start questioning. That's why. That's why. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through their way of how to go about it first. Based upon the system they done set up and shit like that. You have to go through their system first. You know what I'm saying? Based upon business, religion, politics, education, all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like entertainment, all that type shit. You have to go through their shit first that they don't already set up. They already got a big three. The same way how y'all was talking about the big three in rap, man, they got a big three when it comes to that. They got a big three when it comes to Abrahamic God. They got a big three when it comes to the entertainment industry and shit like that. I'm spitting and shit. They got a big three when it comes to the political shit of how they want to run shit right now, Democrat, Republican, and stuff like that, and socialists. They got a big three when it comes to goddamn damn. I'm pretty sure I said all of them. They got a big three when it comes to education and shit like that. The public schooling is just the public relations, gentrified version of what they be doing in private school and stuff like that. And all that leads to is, you know what I'm saying? Based upon if it's some type of private school, some university or some institution and shit like that, all it leads is to them and their statues and their version of what the fuck that look like and stuff like that. That's why they always be having some white man statue, or the school is named after some type of white person, or is named after some person who went through their initiation of their practices in so much shape and form. Like, it always lead back to that though. It always like bro, they got it so cold and so set up based upon that program and shit like that, because they want to build and craft the world in a certain way instead of your own way of how you look at it and shit like that. They want to run the world of how they want to look at it, but you can't make your own world. You can't make your own atmosphere. You can't be the walking the walking emanation, celestial body, your own star. How that look like? No, you got to be a rock star, superstar in their world. You can't be that for real though. You know what I'm saying? Like from the ground up, instead of it being like a what they call that, like an infiltrator version of what that shit look like. Like, oh, you have to work with the feds, or you have to work with a handler, oh, you have to work with police, oh, you got to get lured up with their type of lures and stuff like that. You need to have the business type of suit and tie mindset and shit like that. Like, nigga, all that shit, they done set that shit up. all that shit, they done set that shit up. So just watch that. Just watch that. Nah, for real. And motherfuckers got to stick with their own people and stuff like that, so we can have our own system set up to where different people from certain ethnic groups and backgrounds and all that type of shit can have their own thing set up that's outside of their system, outside of their industry, because they already done industrialized and made a whole bunch of different businesses to capitalize off of that. So don't you want your own capital? Don't you, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't you want your own territory? Don't you want your own world, your own shit of how, you know what I'm saying? That's more beneficial with you and your people instead of depending on them when it comes to safety, security, shelter. You know what I'm saying? Basic necessities and stuff like that. Yeah, you have a necessity that's already a convenience for you because you can do that shit in your own backyard instead of depending on some Freemason institutionalized concept of some shit they already done made. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, oh, yeah, the Jews is this. Fuck. Instead of being like, oh, the Jews is this. Or the Masons did this. That's why the world fucked up. They got some secret thing going on, this, that, and the third. Get your own shit that's outside of their world so you don't have to complain about what they doing and shit like that. And that's that real productivity behind it, that real creativity behind it.